called Eau Rouge, a bend in the road, driven as fast as you dare.
One of those corners.
The leg is coming back and your mind is pushing down again, so it's a very good fight.
All the time if you go through, and if you are through, you're like this.
You go into it and go, oh. You go halfway through and you go, and then you praise the Lord as you come out.
Eau Rouge, the most demanding corner in motor racing. A part of the legend of Spa-Francorchamps, home of the Grand Prix of Belgium. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. In the Ardennes forest of eastern Belgium lies one of the world's classic circuits, Spa-Francorchamps, site of round 11 in the Formula One World Driving Championship, the Grand Prix of Belgium. Hello once again, everyone. I'm Bob Varsha. Welcome to Awesome Spa. Of the thousands of racing circuits in the world, there are few, just a handful, that demand absolutely everything car and driver can give. Spa is the last remaining vestige of what racing once was, run on public roads, and it's certainly the last one on the Formula One World Championship that ranks with the likes of the old Nürburgring, or perhaps Indianapolis, in that the driver and car must measure up to the racetrack and not the other way around. With me to call the action this weekend, ESPN Formula One analyst David Hobbs, of course, and David, no wimpy street circuit for us. This place is fast.
Bob, you're absolutely right. It's still the driver's absolute favorite circuit. Great variety of corners and tremendous elevation change. But it's nothing to what the old circuit used to be. When I first came here in the 60s, it was 8.5 miles long. No guardrails, no runoff areas, just trees and houses and people picnicking right at the side of the road. And it's awesome to think that in 1961, just 30 years ago, Richie Ginter, the American, in a 1.5-litre Ferrari, averaged 132 miles an hour on that circuit for fastest lap of the race. Today, that'd be averaging 200 miles an hour around there. I'm proud to say that I've done my little bit on this new circuit, too. I was on the pole position here for the 84 World Sports Car Championship race. Of course, Thierry Boutsen actually put the car on pole. He also crashed it on the first lap. Thierry is the only Belgian in today's race. And, of course, there is another Belgian who would just dearly, dearly love to be in today's race, but he is unfortunately detained elsewhere. With more on that story, John Bizignano.
Well, David, one person who is looking forward to the Grand Prix of Belgium is local hero and poster boy Bertrand Gachot. He is not here in Spa because he is in a maximum security prison due to an altercation with a London cabbie. We talked to Eddie Jordan, his longtime supporter and team manager, about the situation.
When we realized fully that he was taken away and not able to do that, and he was in custody, it was a shattering blow, and particularly his own mechanics and his engineers here. It's like as if you've lost somebody temporarily, if you like, and it's a very big blow in the team, and we're totally supportive and trying everything as possible to have him released in the shortest possible time.
Well, one man's tragedy can be another man's road to success. Gachot's replacement is Michael Schumacher, and his excellent performance so far has turned many team managers' heads.
And there you see some of the T-shirts that have been passed out to the drivers and the crowds here. Bertrand Gachot in a British prison will be telling you a lot more about how he got there and about his replacement, the sensation of this weekend's race, Michael Schumacher of Germany. Right now, let's take a look at the way the field will line up with the help of our Brooke starting grid. On the pole for the 58th time in his career, the 6th time this year for the McLaren Honda team, Brazilian Ayrton Senna, 4th in the morning warm-up. Next to him, Alain Prost of France, still looking for his first victory of the year for Ferrari. On the second row, Nigel Mansell of Great Britain, second quickest in the morning warm-up in the Williams Renault. Next to him, Gerhard Berger of Austria, also looking for his first victory of the year in the McLaren Honda. Row 3 will be Jean Alesi of France, who did not get in any warm-up time this morning. Nelson Piquet will be next to him on row 3, the Brazilian in his 199th Grand Prix start. On row 4, Michael Schumacher of Germany in the Jordan, the youngest man in the field at just 22 years of age, 4th in the morning warm-up. Absolutely sensational. Next one will be Roberto Moreno of Brazil in the second Benetton Ford. Row 5, Pierluigi Martini of Italy in the Minardi, next to the surprisingly quiet Tyrrell Honda of Stefano Modena of Italy. Row 6, also two Italians, Andrea De Cesaris in the second Jordan, who's been outrun by his young teammate all weekend. De Cesaris, though, 5th in the warm-up. next to Ivan Capelli in the Leighton House Ilmore, coming off their first point ever in Hungary 2 weeks ago. Row 7 will be Mark Blundell of Great Britain in the Brabham Yamaha, celebrating a new contract this weekend. He'll be next to J.J. Leto of Finland in the Dallara Judd, looking forward to getting Ferrari engines next year. More on that later on. Row 8, Mauricio Gugelmin of Brazil in the second Leighton House Ilmore, next to the Brabham Yamaha of Martin Brundle of Great Britain, who will not be with that team next year. Row 9, Riccardo Patrese of Italy, 3 times a pole sitter this year with 1 victory in his pocket for the Williams-Renault team, but he was not able to get in a qualifying time, or that is, he was disqualified from yesterday's second-round qualifying. He is way back in the 17th spot, next to his former Williams teammate, Terry Boutsen of Belgium, the crowd darling here at Spa in the Ligier. Row 10 will be Gianni Morbidelli of Italy in the Minardi. He's had 2 accidents this weekend. He'll be next to Frenchman Eric Bernard in the Lola Ford. Row 11, Johnny Herbert of Great Britain in the second Lotus, next to the Tyrrell of Satoru Nakajima of Japan. Row 12 will be Olivier Griard of France in the Fun Metal Ford, next to the Lotus of Mika Hakkinen of Finland. And our 13th and final row, Emanuele Firo of Italy in the Dallara, next to the Ligier of Frenchman Eric Comas. Those who failed to qualify, Aguri Suzuki of Japan in the second Lola, the Lamborghini of Nicola Larini of Italy, Italian Alex Caffi in the Footwork Ford, and the Lamborghini of Eric Van de Poel of Belgium. Those who did not pre-qualify in Friday morning's initial session, Michele Alboreto of Italy in the Footwork, Italians Fabrizio Barbaza and Gabriella Tarquini in the AGS cars, and Portuguese Pedro Chavez in the Coloni. David, I think we'd have to say Schumacher, though, has been the absolute sensation of the weekend.
Well, sensation really is an adjective that you just don't know how to describe the guy. I mean, he's been absolutely outstanding. Qualified 7th, and in this morning's warm-up, he was 4th fastest on this incredible Spa circuit. There you see the start-finish, and turn 1 is La Source. The slowest corner here, first gear, and very, very often the scene, unfortunately, of first-lap instance. There we see Eau Rouge, the mighty one. Downhill, steeply downhill into it, left flick, then a right sweep uphill, and a left flick on the exit. Then, of course, the long straight comes into Les Combes. The old circuit used to go straight on. Now we do a right-left chicane, and we start going downhill again. That hooker there is a very, very difficult little corner. The long Pouhon leads into this last complex, which is the old Stavelot, leading back onto the old circuit where the red line ends.
There you see Ayrton Senna, our pole sitter, leading the field down to the bus stop chicane, named because that's exactly what it is, a bus stop. Right now, as the field makes its way around on the formation lap, let's get down to John Bizignano for a final update.
Bob, as they're coming into the starting area, the McLarens had an awful lot of work going on in that garage. They said it was absolutely normal, but Senna is starting in the spare car. They say it's only a matter of preference. Alesi, they were working on the top half of his motor in the garage area and also on the grid. They don't look too comfortable with that particular engine. Clutch work on Mansell's car. Watch for that on the start. New motors for Gugelmin, Pirot, and Leto. New gearboxes for Moreno and Bernard. Watch the start. It's uphill. They got to slip the clutches. The first group will be entering that corner, going down to some 35 miles an hour, where the boys in the rear arrive at over 120. It's going to be tight.
I just hope that the Belgian television people are going to keep some sort of isolation camera on, of course. Riccardo Patrese, who was desperately unlucky yesterday afternoon, second fastest in qualifying. His time was disallowed because they couldn't select reverse gear, and all it was a wire was loose, and the team and himself are very upset because this first corner here is often the scene of carambolage, and of course he's going to be right in the middle of it, starting at the back there.
Keep in mind, we had 2 red flags in this race last year. It took us 3 attempts to get this race started. There at the back of the field is the official with the green flag. When the field is in place, he will wave it as he does now. The field is in the starter's hands. It looks clean, but it's a drag race to the first corner. They'll get hard on the brakes. Let's hope they all make it through. A little ungainly, but it looks like it worked. Ayrton Senna of Brazil in the red and white McLaren Honda leads the field through Eau Rouge for the first time.
He'll be wanting to keep Alan Prost in that Ferrari between himself and Nigel Mansell as long as possible. Ooh, a bit of a sort out there. Somebody slowed up.
One of the Jordans slowed very, very quickly. It might have been Michael Schumacher. We'll have to look for his helmet colors. Reaching up to 195 miles an hour when they...
And he catches Senna up all the way through here. Whoa, somebody's off the road there. Big cloud of dust. Who's that? That is...
Satoru Nakajima.
Oh, what a surprise.
Here's another look at it. Up in Lecombe, he went underneath, one of the LaRousse cars. That's Eric Bernard. Bernard not able to save it either, but old Naka went off at some speed there. And it would appear that he has stalled it. Push me backwards, says Naka-san in the international language of Formula One. Hand signals.
Coming up to the bus stop chicane, which in real life is a bus stop. Nigel biding his time. Doesn't have to take the lead at this stage, but it's always nice to be in front because you just never know what's going to go wrong. Something can happen. The guy in front could blow up and spray oil and slide. And you go sliding off on the debris. And of course, once they get...
We saw pushed off as well. From above, there is Ricardo Patrese making his way through the field gamely. From 17th, he is now challenging, I believe that's Stefano Martinez Tyrrell up ahead of him, and that is for 6th. And he goes underneath him in La Source to break into the points. Ricardo Patrese having a great drive. Meanwhile, John is standing by with one of the drivers out of the race.
Of course, Michael Schumacher is the man who is having the best weekend of his life until about the halfway mark on the first lap. We heard it was clutch. Is that true, Michael?
Yeah, I think it's something with the clutch broken. I don't know what really is broken, but I haven't any traction and I have to stop the race. But I don't know what really is wrong on the car.
What has been your impression of this fabulous weekend for you? You certainly have met and gone over any expectations you could have had.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by myself because I never expected it that I could do a quite good weekend. But you know, it's important to finish the race and not to do the practice good. I hope I can do Monza and I can show there to finish the race.
Michael, we hope you have many more weekends, and I'm sorry this one didn't end up so well for you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And I don't think that he was being cocky then when he said, I'm impressed with myself. I think we would have said perhaps so. Yeah, I mean, it's the sort of thing that when those sort of days come along, you are absolutely amazing. What's happening? How come I'm doing like this?
I surprised myself. I think John put it best as we were discussing young Mr. Schumacher over dinner the other night. John said he has made himself a multimillionaire this weekend. He hasn't got the money right now, but it is out there for a talent like that. Cold comfort to poor Bertrand Gachot sitting in an English prison on this weekend. We'll have more on that and lots more when we return live to Belgium. His McLaren contract. Ayrton Senna is expected to go back there. That leaves this man, the three-time world champion from Brazil, with no other team to go to. He is very unhappy at Benetton, but we are told they are trying very hard to woo him back.
And of course the whole scene at Benetton is going to change dramatically with Tom Walkinshaw of the Jaguar team having bought 30% of that team, and I think that the Ford people are extremely relieved that Walkinshaw is there and is going to show some of his management expertise, which he no doubt has a lot of, and try to shape this team up a little bit. And I can't imagine they want to drop somebody of Piquet's standing, although I believe that Moreno, his contract is no longer available for him. And the most likely replacement will be, of course, Martin Brundle, who has been a long-time associate of Tom Walkinshaw and a tremendous Formula One driver.
Down Kemmel, you're riding at 195 miles an hour or so. Now you're with Ayrton Senna.
Helmet should finish his race. Poor old Nigel's championship chances slip further and further away. What a bitter disappointment. Give it a good kick. Give it one from me, Nigel.
Nigel has not had a good weekend, and there is Eric Bernard. His Lola Ford has given up the ghost. Attrition really beginning to come into play here. There is Jean Alesi, the third leader we've had today. First Ayrton Senna, then Nigel Mansell. Now Jean Alesi leads for Ferrari. Forza Ferrari will return live to Belgium. Ask the driver question is, should Formula One fuel be regulated?
I think that if something must be done, is always because of safety mainly, because I think that with all this additive, maybe we can go in an area that it can be a bit toxic.
Well, I think they should be regulated because for the smaller teams it's even more difficult. I mean, the bigger teams has a big advantage because of the fuel and they have the budget to get it.
Well, it depends. If it's bad for one horse, then for sure it should not be allowed, because Formula One should stay, I think, like a test bed for new products, new things. But if they are not good for health, they should be stopped.
I guess in the end they're going to have to control it, because like everything else in Formula One, it'll just escalate. So it's got to be available to everybody, or they're going to have to control it.
When we follow the car, sometimes we have the eyes for quite a lot, and it's not very good. It smells very bad in the pit. And all the people who works all the time in this condition, it's not so easy.
As far as the smell is concerned, I'm definitely against it.
If you have a question of a Formula One driver or any comment on our coverage of Formula One, send it to Ask the Driver at Post Office Box 117, Plainville, Connecticut, the zip code 06062-0117. Back live at Spa-Francorchamps, a huge crowd on hand on a beautiful lap. Until I see otherwise, there's a look from Piquet's car up ahead to Senna.
And we don't see Alesi in the long shot there. Behind Nelson Piquet, even closer to him than he is to Senna, lurks Riccardo Patrese, who may be in line for another elusive win. Wins that have eluded him over his career. Senna's car seems to be going okay as we go up here towards the Blanchimont curves.
Senna began this lap 11 seconds ahead of the Benetton, but as you can see, that gap has been cut by more than half. Somebody went straight on at the chicane right there.
Well, Alesi still is leading.
While the battle continues, let's get quickly to the pits. And John.
It's the fact that it's an electrical problem. It's an electrical problem which basically stopped the car, didn't make the gearbox work, but also it cut the engine. I reset the engine, as I was explaining with the ignition. I reset it, restarted it, and everything, and then it just backed up again. I hate to say something similar to Canada, but it's obviously...
Gasho got out of his car. The taxi driver got out of the car. They tussled. Gasho sprayed some mace in the taxi driver's face. It turns out that is an illegal weapon in England, which Gasho did not know. He's from Belgium and France, where it is not illegal. The judge had no sympathy, and once again, depending on who you listen to, Gasho was either repentant or terribly arrogant when he addressed the court, and in any event, he was sentenced to 18 months in an English prison, no bail, and his appeal is not scheduled to be heard until mid-September.
Which means he certainly won't be going to Monza. That's Gerhard Berger has got around Nelson Piquet in the Benetton, so Gerhard Berger is now up to 4th spot, and I've no doubt will be setting up in hot pursuit of Riccardo Patrese. Patrese we've seen sliding around. His car's not obviously set to his perfection. So there's Patrese just going around that right-hand corner in front. Berger in hot pursuit. Berger, incidentally, has the fastest lap of the race.
There is one of the Dolaras out of the event.
Number 22, so that must be...
has to be J.J. Leto or Emanuele Pirro. Let's take another look at that Berger pass on Nelson Piquet from the onboard camera.
Inside squeezes through into that late cone.
He had turned into the corner at that.
Formula One is a game for entrepreneurs, and one of those entrepreneurs is Jack Saar. We see him everywhere. Jack, how many countries do you go to every year?
We do quite a few, like we do all Europe, France, Portugal, Spain, Belgium, and also Mexico, Canada, Australia, Japan, and US, for sure.
With all those countries, how many T-shirts do you think you sell in a year?
I think quite a few.
Quite a few. With a beautiful accent like that, you must live on the South Bank in Paris, no?
Not at all. I live in Orlando, Florida.
Orlando?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Do you happen to have a David Hobbs T-shirt?
David who?
David Hobbs.
Jack, you've let me down. Oh, the Jordans, the engine's gone.
You saw the liquid pouring from the back of the car. What a disappointment. Andrea de Cesaris has not finished second in a Formula One race since 1983 at Kielami, South Africa, when he was driving for the Alfa Romeo team. His 160th Grand Prix start, the most by any driver never to win in Grand Prix competition, is now over.
So this now becomes the race for second. Patrese smoking badly, and Gerhard Berger goes through. So with just 3 laps to go,
2 when they finish this lap.
When they finish this. Ooh, it looks like Patrase's car really is finished.
I don't think he's going to make it. Here's another look at the smoke coming out. I think we had a pretty good look at it live right there as he flew through Blanchimont.
No, that's the Stabilo onto the old circuit.
Right, but he was at Blanchimont previously before we saw our replay. Actually, it's a replay of the pass as Gerhard Berger went through. We are down to 2 laps to go. Ayrton Senna is gone. Gerhard Berger right there is 9.5 seconds behind in what has become a McLaren 1-2.
And I think that would be...
The checkered flag waves. Victory number 32 in one of the most phenomenal driving careers of all time. Now in the books. Here is Nelson Piquet.
Going through Blanchimont for the last time.
He is in 3rd place, so you get a rough idea of how far behind the leading McLaren twosome he is.
Hopefully for us, it's not the last time he goes through Blanchimont. He does not retire because Piquet is one of those people that's been around a long time, 3-time world champion, and is definitely a character on the scene. And we hope that a way can be found to keep him with Benetton or an equally good team.
There you see Ayrton Senna pulling into the Parc Fermé where the cars will be inspected. Behind him, his teammate. That is actually about 15 feet from where we are sitting.
Look at that tire on the
front and rear on the driver's left.
The left front tire. That's that load going around Eau Rouge partly. Really taking a toll on the tire.
Ron Dennis, the team manager at McLaren, accepting congratulations. There are the teammates, Senna in yellow.
That's why he slowed up towards the end.
Here comes Nelson Piquet, your 3rd place finisher. Roberto Moreno got by Riccardo Patrese unofficially right now for 4th. Patrese will finish 5th. And Mark Blundell, it appears, the number 2 man, I would think it's safe to say, with the Brabham Yamaha team, has picked up the first point for that team in 1991. And that will be critically important in the second half of the season when it will be determined who will have to pre-qualify when more teams join Formula One next year. We'll be right back. The forest in eastern Belgium is dotted with hundreds of castles, survivors of centuries of rough history, including the World War II Battle of the Bulge, the tide-turning event in the campaign for Europe. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Formula One Grand Prix of Belgium has been brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. On the podium in the center, Ayrton Senna. To the left, Gerhard Berger. To the right, Nelson Piquet. Senna, the leader in Formula One miles led, laps led, poles, and with 32 victories, rapidly closing in on Alain Prost's leading total of 44 victories. Here are your top 10 in results. Senna, Berger, Piquet, Roberto Moreno finishes 4th. Riccardo Patrese salvages some Williams team honor in 5th. In 6th, Mark Blundell, first points for the Brabham Yamaha team. Johnny Herbert 7th, 8th Emmanuel Pirro, 9th Martin Brundle, and in 10th Olivier Griard. The driver's points, Senna now has 71 to 49 for Nigel Mansell. Riccardo Patrese remains 3rd with 34, followed by Gerhard Berger, Nelson Piquet, Alain Prost with teammate Jean Alesi just behind in 6th. In constructors' points, McLaren with 99 over Williams with 83, followed by Ferrari, Benetton, and Jordan. Interesting day, David.
A very interesting day. A lot of retirements, and of course, Ayrton Senna was just a little bit lucky today, I think.
Don't forget, we'll be coming to you next from the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. 2 weeks' time, Sunday, September 8th at 8:50 a.m., 10 minutes to 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm Bob Varsha for David Hobbs and John Bizignano. Thanks for being with us. It's been a spectacular...